Sitting here watching Tex and Waylon, our two herd bulls, standing together, looking over the pond. Probably their own reflections, more than anything else, They could also look to either side and see all of the herd, making sure that the babies are fine, the moms are content. Everyone is healthy, fed, heads to the ground, which is what you like to see. My friends, we are certainly blessed. And I want to thank you all for loving these babies, for accepting them and me. Lord, this gives me almost like goosebumps, y'all. I love this. I better stop that while I still can. Morning, folks. Lester here. And I want to thank you all for taking some time to visit with me and join me today on a midday live video. We are on StreamYard, so we're coming to you on all four of my channels, both platforms, Facebook and YouTube. With both channels, I'm a Survivor Sanctuary and Longhorn Lester's. And if you don't mind, I'm going to have to make me up a drink because, friends, today is a celebration. Not to worry, I'm not driving. I'm here at Longhorn Lester's where I will be sitting for at least the next several hours. And today we have a moment to celebrate. And I'm not sure exactly how you all celebrate, but on occasion, I will take myself a midday drink, because today I'm going to need one. You'll find out momentarily. I am so blessed to have you. I have the shakes. You can see my hand. This is not going to be a pretty live. If you've come to see a pretty live, you've come to the wrong place. This is going to be very sloppy. Oh my gosh. I am full of emotions today. Just so full of emotions. You'll find out momentarily. Happy birthday to Debbie. It's your birthday. Debbie, my son, Lex, today's his birthday as well. I'll be making him a birthday video. I have it ready. I have to upload it. I didn't want to upload it now because I want you to watch the live. I couldn't upload this morning because I want you to watch my videos. I can't load up in the afternoon because I want you to watch my afternoon videos. So I got to find the time. And so I thought I would do it right after the live is over. But today is my son's 12th birthday, and I'm so blessed to have he and Ellie. They've added so much to my life, and I feel the emotions already. I am such the ugly crier. You know, if I was the kind of guy or girl that could just cry and look pretty doing it, it wouldn't be a big deal. But I'm such the ugly crier. And I'm not crying out of anything besides just happiness and joy. These are happy tears. So if you have to look away, or if you choose to look away, then by all means do so. Let me chug a little bit of my drink. I probably could have had an anxiety pill as well, but the combo of those two would not have been a good concoction at all. I want to share something with you that's been on my heart the last couple of days. And I wish I had not had so much time to think about it. When I start thinking about things, then it compounds the thoughts that are already in my head, and then nothing comes out right. So I'm going to ask you to bear with me, and many of you will have to help me find the right words to say what I need to say, because there's a lot that I need to say today, but they're only happy thoughts. And then I'm going to ask you politely in the comments to hold off on your questions. If you have a question, I'll be happy to answer it if I can later in the live, but more than likely I'll get to that question at some point on my own. I kind of have an agenda of what I want to talk about. But first things first, I received something in the mail this week that I've been looking forward to for a while. And before I get to it, I want to show you what I received in the mail a couple of years ago. And this over here was a plaque that they sent to me from YouTube. This happens if your channel is fortunate enough, blessed enough to reach 100,000 subscribers. And so the I'm a Survivor Sanctuary YouTube channel did reach that milestone a couple of years back. And so we were very blessed to have received our plaque for that. And I made sure to have a video talking about the importance of you all and the role that you play in this. And I wanted to remind you then, and I'm going to re-remind you today, that this is not something that Lester Morrow has done. This is something that you all have done. It's a special moment for me, obviously, because I am the one that holds the certificate and the plaque. And but it means a lot that so many of you all fell in love with the sanctuary and the animals at the sanctuary, all of the rescues and the babies. So what I'm trying to say is you made that. Gosh, I need a bigger straw. You made that possible because it was you who, in fact, built the sanctuary, and it was you who taught us how to run an animal sanctuary. It was you who guided us in all of the right directions. It was you who called out our mistakes when we made them, and we made a lot, and we still make a lot. Y'all don't think that we've learned much, but boy, that channel continues to grow. It's at 226,000 today when I looked. And of course, the Facebook with 1.7 million on that same channel has just been phenomenal. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Even though I want to make sure to acknowledge all of you and the fact that you helped us achieve that. And so I'm very proud to be, I guess, the name behind it. But just know that I've never tried to say, look at me, look what I've done, look at me, because it is you. It is absolutely you. Well, after sort of finding our way around the sanctuary and kind of figuring out what was what and who was who, Jamie and I began to realize at some point that some of the animals that were there, some that were rescues, some that were ones that we had just acquired, were not all living their best of lives. And there were some that I had actually even purchased. And I realized at that point that they probably needed more than what the sanctuary could offer. And so then you compound that with the flooding issues and concerns with Hurricane Harvey flooding and Tropical Storm Imelda flooding, along with occasional just flooding from rainwater. And we knew that we should start looking around for something additional, a second property, if you will. And that's when I got the vision of another property where I could hopefully focus more on the animals that were not so much the rescues, but more of my passion, more of my joy, the animals that the goals that I have, and the money that I wanted to save and work up to. I talk about a lot, my retirement. And so I did take on another property. We'd saved and saved and saved. And this is very clear. I've talked about this so many times. I saved every penny I made from YouTube that first 2 years. I was still working, teaching school, driving a school bus, coaching afternoons. And my YouTube money was just extra money. Of course, the sanctuary money is a separate account. That's all the nonprofit stuff. So we don't touch that for anything. But the YouTube money was always Lester Morrow money. And I did go ahead and begin to save that. And we bought some property here. And we named it, a collective naming of it was Longhorn Lester's. You all know that. And that is when we started, you might say, a second journey, going in a little bit of a different direction, still having and holding on to the sanctuary and trying to maintain what we had started right there with all of the rescues. But now we're with the Longhorn Lester property. We were trying to go a little bit different direction. And I'm just going to say I was kind of trying to follow some more of my personal goals and my personal dreams. And there were a lot of people who supported us along the way. And lo and behold, 2 years later, I haven't even dug this out of the packaging yet. 2 years later, we received the most wonderful plaque from YouTube. And so it is our Longhorn Lester's 100,000 followers or subscribers on that channel. And so Jamie and I are very blessed to be able to hold up not just, these two plaques, but also the one that Jamie has earned from her Suits to Boots channel. And so we're very blessed for that. But the reason I'm feeling emotional is because of the fact that Longhorn Lester's was not an endeavor that I never dreamt that people would follow along to a man's dreams when I feel like so much of the country and the world is struggling, trying to make it from one day to the next and trying to get your car filled up with gas and trying to afford things from the grocery store. Oh my gosh, don't even get me started on all the things that you're being taxed on. And I never ever dreamt that anyone would be as interested in following a man's dreams. I understand why you followed the man's farm rebuild after a devastating hurricane, but I don't know why you chose to stick around and watch a man, try to fulfill some personal dreams. So I kept saving my money. And at some point, we had acquired enough to go ahead and purchase the property here we call Longhorn Lester's that you helped me name. Don't think that's all on me. You helped me name that. And so we have Longhorn Lester's. And we opened up a channel to kind of highlight and showcase a lot of the things that we're doing here at Longhorn Lester's, which are not entirely different than what we did at the sanctuary. It's still an animal-based channel where we love and we care for, God's creatures. But these were not all rescues. These are more animals that I have a personal interest in, a hobby, if you will. And so we that channel has found quite a bit of success, and I really appreciate you guys still hanging out with me as we continue to build upon what we have here at Longhorn Lester's. And now you all know that we've evolved to the J and L Ranch property, which it's a whole nother story in itself. So I just want to say thank you for that. And I'm going to also acknowledge a couple of guys who've really been instrumental in helping me keep my mind right here. Everyone knows that social media can be quite overwhelming, especially the comments. But I'm going to first introduce a fella, I will say, who's been the most instrumental in helping me keep my mind right when it comes to dealing with people. This over here is a friend of mine. Yeah, he's a fellow YouTuber and Facebook video creator. His name is Jason Smith, and he's over at Cog Hill Farms. And Jason is probably the most beloved man on the entire internet. I don't think there's a person who can find any fault with whatever he does. And he's a good Christian man, a family man. He loves his animals as much as he loves his family and God. And he has really taught me a lot as far as trying to keep myself grounded in dealing with people. And so, Jason, I appreciate you. I know he loves me and my family. We've worked together in different videos, and he's just a go-to guy who I can talk to on a very daily basis. I do. We chit-chat almost daily, and I'm a better man. Y'all, I'm a better man because of you and because of that fella right there. So thank you, Jason. I did not want to take this moment and to shine without really showcasing the people who've been in my corner and have helped me shine. Someone else I have to give mention to is this guy right over here. I joke all the time that Jason, well, and Daniel, Jason and Daniel, both of them will give you the shirt off of their back. And in fact, Jason has. I'm wearing Jason's shirt right off of his back right now. This is the same shirt right off of his back. Farm, garden, and dance. Yeah, this shirt literally came right off his back. It got put in the mail and sent to me, along with the hat that came right off of Daniel's head. But Daniel and Jason differ in the fact that Jason, whereas he might be more of a people person, Daniel is very much of a business sense. He's very disciplined. I'm going to use the word discipline, and I'm certain that the years of him being in law enforcement have helped him to develop those kind of skills. Probably living with a woman as strong as DJ, his wife, has helped him also acquire some skills in being disciplined. But Daniel has helped me tremendously in showing me the ropes and helping me find my way through the YouTube and the business of all of social media. And so I'm so very blessed to have constant communication with Daniel. He and I have also hung out on a few occasions. We've met him and his family. They've also driven to meet us and our family. We've hung out a few times, and our families love each other so much. And so I want to make sure I thank both of those guys. There's one last fella who I can't ignore. This is Sean from Keeping It Dutch. And I would say Sean is the fella that adds all of the humor. And guys, I think that we can all agree that it's sometimes humor that you need more than anything else. Business sense from Daniel is great. And learning to work well with people and your people skills, customers always right, is with Jason. But this guy is the one that brings everything back. He can take a bad day and turn it around and just keep everyone just laughing and giggling. And he's such a funny, funny man. I do think that if I had known these fellas back in high school, I'm pretty sure that Sean and I would have been drinking buddies. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if Sean even drinks. When he and I had visited and hung out a few times, he never had a drink, even though I do. I'm sorry. I still drink, y'all. I drink. But Sean, I don't think drinks anymore. But I just feel like if he and I were friends back in the day, we would have been great drinking buddies. I just kind of know that. If I had been around with Daniel back in our younger days, heck, he and I would have been the guys who would hit the dance clubs every Friday and Saturday night. I know for a fact that he and I would be hitting the dance clubs. I'd probably be in a whole lot better shape because of the workouts he would put me through on the dance floor. He and I share a passion for dancing. Now, I'm not saying we're good dancers. He's a great dancer, y'all. He's a great dancer. But he would have been the guy I would have gone dancing with. So I would have been drinking with this guy, and then I would have gone dancing with this guy. But early the next morning, I would have probably gone to work out with this guy because he would be the one to call and wake your ass up and say, come on, we're going to hit the gym. That's the kind of discipline that he brings to everything. But Daniel has taught me how to network, the importance of networking with your social media, and the beauty of being able to grow a channel and how you have to go about growing your channels. So I tell you what, I'm very blessed to have made the acquaintance and now become friends with all three of those guys. They support me, they endorse me. And like I say, we have a group chat where we go to pretty much daily. And it's just been a blessing to have friends who have common interest and goals and who can share in trying to figure our way through this social media. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you're forgetting so-and-so, you're forgetting so-and-so. Oh, no, I'm not forgetting anybody. I'm not going to sit here and try to mention every single person who's influenced and been a part of the development and the growth of the properties, because that list would be so long. But we have been very blessed to have met some really amazing people. We've run across some very hard workers, and we've met guys who have brought a lot to the table. But I just have to point out these three guys because that is who I call my circle. These are guys that are in my circle. And if you don't know any of them, I would advise you and encourage you to go look them up. I'll go through those names one last time. Everyone knows this guy, Daniel Arms from Arms Family Homestead. He's there in Oklahoma. And then Jason Smith from Cog Hill Farm there in Alabama. This shirt comes from Jason. Like I said, right off of his back. This hat comes from Daniel, right off of his head, his sweaty head. I know for a fact that it still has sweat rings all around it, which whatever. I'm not picky. I'll take whatever they want to send me. Sean is actually the only guy who has sent me new merch. His merch that he sends me is so new, so soft that I won't even wear it. I'm only going to wear his stuff on nice occasions. I only wear Sean's stuff when I'm going out. So I'm going to keep that stuff nice and clean. I don't really care if I wear this out because this is how it came. This is the way Jason wears his stuff, y'all. Like I tell you, he's a real, these are all men's men. And listen to me, I'll say one last thing about him before I move on. And I hope that you remember this. God, family, and country. And if you could quote that, because all three of those men are that's the order. That's how they have the order of how they run their lives, with God, family, and country. And I couldn't be more proud to call those guys friends. So thank you to those three fellas for the success of both of our channels. Actually, even Jamie's channel owes a lot to those fellas. I tell you what, it's cute because Jason will sometimes text me things to me that he wants me to transfer over to Jamie, things about gardening and this and that. Sean showed up over here to help me hunt down Mr. Huck's killers, the coyote pack that got after Mr. Huck. And he helped me lure those coyotes up, and we did exterminate those. He also left the most annoying rooster ever named Rocky. So I don't really know what Sean's purpose was to come help me hunt these coyotes, these goat killers, or to leave me that darn rooster. But it is what it is. And of course, Daniel came down to visit and hang out. We went up to see him as well. Had a lot of fun with that family. So thank you to those fellas. And thank you to everybody who's been a part of the growth of the channels. I didn't want to let that moment go by without acknowledging all of you and those fellas for being such an integral part of the growth of the page. Okay, I got the hard part over with, and I pretty much kept a pretty calm demeanor. I would like to talk a little bit about what's going on over at the J and L Ranch property today. So for the most part, Jamie and I got our house back. And when I say that, last night was the first night that we were able to go over and camp. I went over and we got the RV backed up, set up, and we had a nice camp out last night. I also allowed the cows to go up to the front pasture. That's all been refenced with just the best fencing ever. And you all know the fellow who worked on that for us. When I left today, I had Uriel over, who's doing some welding. And I hope that when I get back this afternoon, he's going to have all that welding finished up. He's going to put the real pretty sign, the J and L logo, on top of the new barn. And man, it's just been a really blessed couple of weeks of getting a lot of stuff done. It all started, I think, with the guys who brought the rock, and what a blessing that was. And then we had the lady at the feed store who gave us a suggestion of Richardson Ag and Outdoors, how to do this feed to keep our animals healthy and at their peak performance with all the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that feed contains. Yes, we do have a barn. I'm not going to talk a lot about the barn because, listen, I've always told you guys that I will highlight and showcase positive experiences. And if we have an experience with the vendor or with the contractor that's not as positive, I'm not going to bash anybody. My channel's not about bashing anybody in particular, but I'm going to try to keep it positive. And so the barn transaction was very smooth. The fella, name is Jake, who helped me locate the barn, was phenomenal. He worked with me multiple times. We had to make visits and sign contracts, and everything with him was smooth. But I will say that after that point, nothing else really went as smooth. There were a lot of issues that I have not talked about because I don't want to bash and put down anybody. But at the same time, I'm not going to promote a product or a company that I have some reservations for. I think that I want to keep my page honest. And so if I endorse somebody, then you better darn sure know that they're good people and they're going to do you right the same way they did me right. So fine. Victory Dirt, Richardson Ag and Outdoors, Randall McCord and his Longhorn Fence Company. We'll talk more about that. But listen, don't let me get off on some kind of a tangent. That's not what I'm here for today. But just know that we do have a barn over there, but that comes with some issues. We'll talk about that later, y'all. But now's not the day. I just wanted to make sure that we have a positive live and we don't create any kind of a tangent where everyone runs off to say something mean to each other. And so there is a whole lot going on today. And I can't wait to get back over. As a matter of fact, Victory Dirt is back on the property, and they're going to continue with our drive that goes around, and it will kind of make a horseshoe around that little grove of trees that Jamie loves so much, where her swing set is at. And we're going to have us a complete, not a circle drive, but a horseshoe drive. And it has to be a horseshoe drive to kind of blend into being able to navigate trailers and RV and other things that you need to navigate in and out of not a tight space, but a tight-ish space. And then as far as Randall, Preston, and James, the guys who did the fencing, we are going to talk a whole lot about them. And what they're doing right now is they're finishing up and creating themselves a Google page, so that whenever we do promote them, you all will be able to go by and give them a positive Google review. And if you don't already know this, Google reviews are the way that a company can grow. Then that's rapid growth. A Google review is a whole lot like someone sharing a video, that you share the video, meaning that you endorse that video, you approve of that message they're giving you. And so when you do a positive Google review, what you're doing is endorsing that company, and what they're going to do is grow, and they're going to move up the search bar. So when someone goes to a search bar to type in dirt or propane or fencing or whatever the thing may be, if they have more positive Google reviews, their name will pop up at the top of the list. And so that's about all we can do for those companies. Of course, we pay them for the work that they perform, but we look a little bit behind the scenes at what else they do for us and how effective, how efficient, how cost saving, and all of those kind of things. And then we will absolutely endorse them the same way we would do a product. If someone sends us an e-bike, but it's no good or it's missing parts, I'm not going to sit there and tell you how wonderful it is if in fact it's not. So you understand, Longhorn Fence and Land Development Company, LLC. I don't know for a fact, Patty, I don't know for sure if that's the name. So do not go there, everybody, and give them a positive review unless you know for sure that's Randall and his people. I haven't found them on Google yet. I haven't even looked them up yet. I just wanted to make sure the fence was all the way done, and I wanted to bring Randall on and talk with Randall in front of you all, and then at that point, he could share with us the link, and maybe we could all go that same day and just go and just flood his Google reviews with positive things. Because I'll tell you what, I've never seen such a hardworking group of young men, y'all, young men. These fellas are 22, 23 years old, and they work like hardened and seasoned veterans in their field. They worked their tails off. They slept there like in an RV, but without all of the, all they had was a soft bed, not AC, no heat, no electricity. Besides the generator that would turn on momentarily, they had no hot water. And those fellas worked. My God, they worked. And we'll talk more about that at a later time, y'all, at a later time. So let me go ahead and get one last picture. If you want to get a photo, I would appreciate that. You can send me some pictures here. Hold on. This shirt might not be the best shirt to wear. This is probably not a picture I want to remember. My Arms family hat, my ripped up and ripped up shirt, and then my 2 plaques from YouTube. This is probably not my most proud moment. It makes me very proud. Well, heck, you know what? Screw it. I'm proud. I don't care what shirt I'm wearing. Why should I care? This actually is, I should wear this with honor, right? I should wear this shirt with honor. Oh, God. It's a little nippy out here today, okay? So let me move on from all of that. In case you're wondering how the plaques work, the plaques don't do anything besides kind of give you a place to highlight and showcase some of the accomplishments. But like I said, this needs to go on a wall of fame for us. There's no way that I'm going to take credit for either one of these things, because this over here is something that you did for me, y'all, and you did for us. But as far as how getting 100,000 subscribers works on YouTube, it puts you into a whole new tier of advertisers. And what that means is, let's just say, for example, that I'm just trying to find something cheesy and cheap. Let's just take this box cutter. I don't know, a generic box cutter. There's not even a name brand on here, which means that they probably are not a branded company. They just make box cutters and they just get them out there. And so the types of people who will advertise on a YouTube or Facebook channel that only have a few members are going to usually be lesser companies. They don't pay as much. But once you get to a certain threshold of supporters and views on your videos, all of a sudden your branding steps up. Different brands, more lucrative brands, would want to advertise with you. Dr. Pepper might want to put an ad on your video. So you can imagine how much money Dr. Pepper will pay per ad compared to how much a generic box cutter is going to pay per ad. So obviously the more ads, the more ad revenue you make, of course, YouTube and Facebook split that with you, but more money you will make as a creator. And then once you cross that next milestone, which would be 1 million, which I'm not even going to dream about that, y'all. We're not even going to dream that far ahead. Daniel will reach that. Daniel Arms, where's he at? Daniel Arms. I love Daniel. Daniel Arms is going to reach 1 million, I believe, if not this year, then probably by next. His page is really something else. He just has an amazing reach and has found, I mean, he really brings all kinds of people together. It doesn't matter if he's doing some kind of tractor work or some kind of hunting with his family, or some kind of adventure where they go off on some vacation. He always finds ways to bring a lot of people together. And so that's the beauty of Daniel's channel. And he will, in fact, hit 1 million or more in, if not this year, I bet you by next, by 2024, maybe 2025, he will hit his 1 million. And at that point, he'll go into a whole new level of advertisers. So like the cream of the crop. So congrats to Daniel and all of those guys. Y'all were all 3 of us have been blessed to have been able to quit our full-time jobs and make video creation what we do for a living. And so a lot of people don't understand. Hey, love, you want to come over? Oh, you want to come visit for a minute? No? Jamie's going to stop by and visit for a minute. We'll get her intake on a lot of stuff. Come on over, babe. Jamie's about to get back to work, but tell me what you think the difference is between I'm a survivor and, so I'm a survivor on one hand, and then you have Longhorn Lester Suits the Boots, which is our other channels on the other hand. What would you say is the dividing? Because what I said, you want me to go first?
Yeah, tell me, give me some context here.
Well, what I meant to say was that I'm a Survivor was a page that was built from you all, a love for animals, especially animals who had a need, a need to be helped from rescue, and then offering of the forever home. And then you bought into those animals' stories. You want to know about their past, their present, and their future. And so I understand how I'm a Survivor was a really amazing place and page, and why it grows and continues to grow to this day. Whereas I don't think that Longhorn Lester's or From Suits to Boots had that. Now, even though we still work with animals, I think that those separate, because now these two are kind of like your and my personal interest, our personal goals.
Yeah.
It's not a collective, everyone comes together and do this for the animals, but instead people still choose to follow you and I.
Well,
even though
I still think it's a collective come together for the animals, but it's our personal takes. It's our personal like viewpoints on it, and really sort of hones in on what else goes into it that isn't just about the animals, you know, like it goes into a little bit deeper about you and I as individuals as well. Like I cry like once a week. Like it's about feelings and emotions.
And I put my foot in my mouth at least once a week. I get into a lot of trouble. I do express more personal opinions on my personal page than what I do on the sanctuary page. And you cry a lot. How you feel about this shirt that I'm wearing? You like this?
It's this. This is what I really like that here.
Does something for
Where's
you?
Your spoon necklace?
I didn't wear that.
It would like peek out perfectly in that.
I'm wearing my Arms Family Homestead cap. I said I saved my Dutch stuff because it's new and it's soft and it's pretty. I wear it when I go out.
It's true.
I do got some neat merch, but no. Okay, well that's what I kind of.
Is that wrong? Is that not what you
I
said?
think no. You said it better than I could say it. Jamie always says it both. I mean, she always says things better than I can.
That's not true.
It's true. And so.
Let's say to you, weirdo. But look at how far she had to run.
She can't see. She
to be able to figure out that was Sadie in that pasture.
Yeah, she can't see and she can't hear for nothing, y'all. So.
Is that all you needed me for then?
I didn't need it. I just thought you might want to come by and share your thoughts on the plaques and the differences in the channels. And
you know, I also think that I'm a Survivor came up at a time where there were very little farm creators on any platform. Like it wasn't as big and widespread. Now everybody's a creator. So people found a love in creation after I'm a Survivor, that you really fell in love with individuals as well. And that's what evolved Longhorn Lester's and From Suits to Boots and the rest of our family and thousands of other channels across the internet. And the diversity that came from that allowed people to compare, contrast, and you know, really be able to explore the things that they enjoyed and to find hopefully their happy places.
That's true. And that's been our ultimate goal in all of this, is that you can hopefully find your happy place in everything. And we always say that if it's not with us, I understand you got to go, babe. Thank you.
No, I'm looking for someone says to block.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And if this is not your happy place, then by all means, y'all, we always encourage you to go find your happy place. Like Jamie said, there's a lot of creators now. When we first started, there weren't as many. We were blessed to make long videos, and long videos during COVID was the thing that was in. Now the world has evolved a little bit more to where now people are liking the short, quick hit and miss videos of the TikTok era. And so long videos are a dying breed, I'm afraid. But I've said this before, and I believe all the guys and Jamie agree with me that we're not going to stop doing what we do, even though we've been asked to shorten videos. We've been asked to change a few things to help meet the algorithm. We kind of have a niche. We found our people, and most of our people are completely okay with the longer videos that tell a full story. And so we appreciate that. And so we'll stick around as long as you will, or as long as Facebook and YouTube will have us. But we are blessed to be housed on their pages. They allow us a voice, and so we're blessed for that. So. Can't find the person.
Oh, I found her.
Okay.
I'm just giving her peace back in her life and peace in everyone else's.
Jamie has just she's returned you to a peaceful place. And she's also going to bring a lot of peace back to the people who don't like that type over here. The world
Don't worry,
is.
she didn't hate you. She hated me.
Oh, she just hates Jamie. Okay. Well, ma'am, sorry, but if you don't like Jamie, then you don't like me. Because if you don't like me, you can't like Jamie. Someone says, bye, Barbara. What's her name? Barbara? Bye, Barbara. Well, she won't hear this anyway.
No need. It's all
So
good.
the sad thing is, Barbara, whoever she was, I didn't notice it. I'm not able to read when I'm talking. Barbara will have no idea what's going on until she posts that next mean comment. Then she'll press enter, waiting for a reply. And even though her comment will show posted, no one's going to see it. We don't see it. When you block somebody, Facebook and YouTube are clever. They still allow them to watch us, but they don't allow them to participate in the group discussion. And sometimes that just can annoy the heck out of somebody, because what they're looking for is reaction. They want to be heard. And there are people who want to be heard, even if that voice of theirs is a negative and bitter one. So I would block her on all platforms if I was you. Yeah, it's a lot more work to us than what it's worth to go in there and
I'll
search
just wait
somebody
till
up.
she spouts off somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go look
You
for
guys
her.
are really good about calling us out to the people who are being just complete jerks, and we'll take care of that. I understand we can't police social media the way we would like to, and even though we have moderators who help us, why is Carl running across the pasture at 100 miles an hour?
Cuss tats after him. Oh my god! Like I didn't run it up here.
Carl is running with his wings out 100 miles. I don't know if it's 100, but it's close to. He's full sprinting over here, and I don't know what he's up to. And James is cat's chasing him. So, anywho, enough about that.
All right,
All right,
I'm
babe.
headed out.
See you later. Please drive safe.
All right.
We love you.
Love you too.
Babe, can I get one favor? Go ahead and bring me one of those sweaters. I don't care if you bring me Dutch's or his wife's. I just need a sweater on. I'm cold. I'm going to actually put on a sweater right now. There's one green one in my closet on top of the safe. So believe it or not, it is pretty chilly today. And I'm not doing this because my nipples are showing, but my nipples are like sticking right through my shirt, and it kind of hurts. But I am going to put on a sweater. And I told her, bring me one of Sean's sweaters. I don't know if it's his wife's page or his page. I don't think he cares. But I am going to have to put on something because it's getting pretty chilly out here. So exciting news is that last night, Jamie and I camped out in the RV, which a lot of you guys don't call that camping. You call it glamping. I know that. And I think that you're absolutely right. It is glamping. It's is that Sean's or Brandy's? It's okay. I don't think Sean will care. Sean, sorry. This was the one that was on top. Thank you, love. We have in my sweater drawer is full. My sweater drawer is full. And so what I do is I have to put extra stuff on top of the safe. We have a big wall safe in the closet. And I put a lot of stuff on top of there, just fold it. And I knew I saw this one earlier, and I was like, I'm not going to need a sweater today. It's warm enough. But believe it or not, it's not the temperature, it's the breeze that can really get to you. But thank you. You guys are very polite. So at this point, I will go ahead and just kind of wrap up my spiel, and then I'll go ahead and answer some questions. I do see over in the comments, there's a ton of people answering questions. I'm not really here to talk politics. I'll tell you what happened with Facebook. And if you all, I read a whole lot of the ins and outs of Facebook and the decline of Facebook. Hold on. I actually screenshotted something today from a news article that I wasn't going to talk about today, but I can. And this is the truth of the matter. This is what it boils down to. And this is sad, really. So Facebook is on the decline. Everyone knows that, y'all. We've all talked about it. And then a lot of people contribute or attribute the decline of Facebook to the fact that Facebook became politicized. Everyone knows that Facebook took a position. And so I understand that some people feel they have a need to take a position in politics. They take a position in social issues. People take positions in religion. People take positions in all kinds of things. And if you ever feel that you have to take a position, then that's fine. You take a position. But when you run a company or even a Facebook channel, you have to be very careful not to take a position, because what you're going to do is divide your audience. Facebook took a huge gamble, and they did take a position during all of the, well, I don't know if it goes back to elections, if it goes back to the looting and rioting, all of the social things going on. But at some point, Facebook decided to take themselves a position, and that position divided their channel. And pretty much, this is a. I'm not going to give you the news source. Then you can know what news I read. But platform. It's a platform for bullies, attention seekers, and hypocrites, is what I thought was a pretty accurate quote. And they're saying that has become the reason for the decline in Facebook. My biggest complaint with Facebook, now granted, Facebook is the reason that we have found success in social media. So it's hard to knock the guy that pays your bills and allows you a voice. But I will say that if truth be told, and if I ever get a chance to write a book about my experiences with social media, I will say that Facebook is probably the worst run business ever. They have no customer service. They have no one to help creators who've gotten lost along the page. Sometimes Facebook can put you into a Facebook jail for something they don't like that you've done, yet they completely allow someone else to do the exact same thing, if not worse. And so there's a lot of creators who are trying to find an alternative means to spreading their content without going through Facebook. Yes, Vanessa says Facebook is also the worst for scammers. People are saying over here, Facebook is all about politics. And so that is kind of true. And I don't mean to knock Facebook, y'all. I don't know Mark Zuckerberg. I know he's a very wealthy man, and he probably could have done things a little bit differently. But I do think that Mark, I shouldn't even call him by his first name, but I do believe that Mark will learn the hard way. There'll be a time when many of us will look back and we're going to realize that some of the things that we supported, whoops, that was a mistake. Let's take, well, here I go dividing my audience. And I'm so sorry if I say this. I think that the BLM movement might have been a good movement, except for the fact that your leadership in the movement were crooks and took advantage of a whole lot of people. And those creators of that got very wealthy on your money and the support of a lot of people that bought into what should have been a movement to help people of color. And it ended up backfiring when the truth was told. And a lot of the things that went poorly in this country in the name of BLM ended up being detrimental to the cause. And so as of right now, you will find very few people who will publicly say, we support BLM, even though everyone does support Black lives as well as white, Chinese, or police. And so I don't know. That's very touchy. And it's so many of those kind of things can be politicized. And once you begin to talk about politics, things, people divide. It divides people. So we do try not to go there if we can. But at the same time, we are also human. And as humans, we want to share our thoughts. We need to talk with people who will listen. We want to share ideas. And the unfortunate thing about that is sometimes just sharing your ideas or your thoughts or your worries can have people go crazy. And it sends people to all types of crazy places because they've been conditioned not to allow anything into their head unless it matches the narrative they've been preached and taught their entire lives. Karina goes, I think that we all matter. Ma'am, I believe you. I think that you're onto something there. We all matter. And if it's with police brutality, or if it's with prison reform, or if it's with illegal immigration, or if it's, I mean, there are so many places that we all want to talk and we're scared to. If you're like me, I'll raise my hand. I'm scared to talk about things I think about. I am scared to talk about things I think about by the repercussions of people who can't handle my thoughts. Listen, these are my thoughts. These are things that I'm going to say because they're my thoughts. And what kind of a world do you live in when your thoughts can get you persecuted because you want to share an opinion? They're just a thought. I'll give you an example. Let me just give you an example. So I'm really happy this week that I was able to help Uriel. He's the little fella who's over here on a work visa, and his work visa is going to expire in a couple of months. And Uriel has a very hard decision to make. And he's told me about it. He's told me his decision. When his work visa expires, he's going to have to make a decision to either go back to Mexico, where he's from, or he will try to stay on and become, quote unquote, an illegal immigrant, opening himself up to all kinds of scrutiny and prosecution, persecution, you name it. And so I said, Uriel, before that day happens, let's teach you a skill. Let's teach you a skill. And so really his only skill is he can drive a tractor, and he's a great tractor operator. Naomi, Uriel's already married, and that's something else too. Ladies, stop flirting with a man who's already married. That's poor taste on your part. You all know he's married with a child, and so by continually flirting with him on my page does not make his wife want him to be in any videos. You made it really hard for Uriel to be on a video because of all of the cougarish flirting that you do. His wife doesn't want to read that. If you want to talk about how hard of a worker he is or how amazing he is with whatever he's working on, that's great. But stop being flirtatious and throwing yourselves at a man who's married. That doesn't reflect well on you. But Uriel is at a really tough place. So what I did was I says, Uriel, I want you to learn how to weld. I think that welding is a profession that there's a high demand for. And so I bought Uriel a welding machine, not expensive one, but I found one at Tractor Supply that we put on our credit card. And so Uriel now has his very own welding machine. And then he has been going and learning how to weld. So he's done a couple of things for us to learn how to weld and to practice his skill. And so he's going on his own time to help, you might say, be an apprentice to a guy who's welding. And then he'll come back over and take his own welder that I bought him, and he'll do things with it. And so I'm going to say this, and you may get upset with me about this, but once again, I'm just talking my mind, y'all. I'm just speaking my mind. And if you can't let me speak my mind, then what kind of a country are we when I can't even have the freedom to speak what's on my mind? I'm not demanding that you do anything. I'm not stomping my fist or stomping my feet and raising my fist at you. I'm not screaming or hollering. I'm talking to you out of love. So I'm trying to teach Uriel a trade. Now, I can't teach him myself because I don't know how to weld, but I know people who can weld. And so I sent him to people who can teach him. And so today, as a matter of fact, he's over at the J and L Ranch, and he's doing some welding for us. I'll talk about that in my video tomorrow. He even helped me, taught me a little bit about the basics of welding while I was there this morning. And so when Uriel is not working with me, and when he's not working with Mr. Leo, who's his full-time employee, he'll be able to go onto Marketplace and make him a listing for a welder. I'm hoping he'll be able to find enough work. But here goes the but. Y'all ready for the but? Here goes the but. But at some point, Uriel's visa is going to expire. It is. It's going to expire, and that's in a couple of months. And at that point, Uriel will have a very tough decision to make. He's going to be asked to go back home and reapply. And that's how that process works. Yet Uriel knows that to reapply is going to take him years to get permission to come back. So I do believe that Uriel will more than likely let his visa expire, and he will probably become an illegal immigrant who's working here, living here illegally. His life will become very difficult. He will be subject to being pulled over and possibly, is it called expedited, or what do they call that when he's heard he can be sent back home? And I hate to see that for him, because I know for a fact, I would vouch for Uriel in a heartbeat and say, listen, you're going to take a 26-year-old young man who wants to work. He wants to contribute to our American ecosystem. Economics. He wants to work. He wants to make money. He wants to pay. He'll pay his taxes. He's not going to drink. He's not going to rape our women. He's not going to hurt children. He's not going to ask for assistance. He's not going to take our taxes. He's not going to do all of these things. He wants to work. However, here we go. This is the scary part. I'm going to actually watch my numbers over here. I'm actually going to watch my numbers when I say this, because this is going to be baffling. Mark this number down. 5,413 as of right now. But watch what's going to happen when I say this. Unknown to so many of you, because your media is not telling you, do you realize how many hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants are not being processed, but are being pulled up in vans, buses, SUVs, large trucks, 18-wheelers, and dropped off on every street corner all across the southern border? And these people are getting out of their vehicles. These are not families. If you're being told they're mostly families, that's like being told those were mostly peaceful protests. That's a lie. It's a word they throw in, an adverb they throw in to convince you that it's not as bad as it sounds. Listen to me. With my own eyes, I see it daily. I live here in Texas. I see what happens daily. And every single day, a bus or a van or an SUV or a truck, a large truck, a Suburban will pull up to the gas station anywhere in the Plum Grove area and unload, I'm going to say dozens. There have been times where I could have counted hundreds of people getting out of those trucks and scattering in different directions. Now, in Plum Grove, I will say that most of those people are, in fact, more than likely of Hispanic descent, meaning they're from a Latin American country, probably Mexico, maybe Central America. But guys, what I see, if that's what I see with my own eyes, what I don't see with my own eyes, but yet I see on all kinds of social media and on news sources, on all of the networks, are people from China being dropped off, people from Africa being dropped off, people from countries from around the world. And then I have to ask myself this question: are all of those people Uriel type people who really want to come here and work and make a difference? Or could it be possible that some of those people, just some, might be here for very bad reasons? They might be here for very bad reasons. And if they're here for very bad reasons, did we not learn a darn thing after 9/11? How dumb are we to think that back in the 1990s, whatever, we allowed people into our country who were not really vetted. And at some point, they formed a sleeper cell, a group of people who had a common goal, funded by somebody. And guess what? They did what they did to 9/11. Now, granted, I'm not going to read the comments because some of y'all saying that was a hoax, that was a gag. Okay, maybe whatever. Bottom line is, what happened on 9/11 happened. Did we not learn a darn thing? Did we not learn a darn thing? How dumb are we to allow anybody into our country without being checked? And now you're going to say, well, hold on a minute. We're trying to process them. I think that you're right. I think there are places that will process them, allow them in, and give them a court date. I've seen the court dates on a lot of their paperwork. It's years into the future. Come on in, and we'll see you in the year 2027. We'll meet you on this date in the year 2025. And so, okay, fine. I get it. We keep our fingers crossed that all of those folks are truly here to work. They're all a bunch of Uriels who come from all over the world, who come here to work and make a better life for themselves. But do you ever wonder about the what ifs? Just like, what if they're not all here to do like Uriel? What if they're not here to do like Uriel? What if they are in fact here because they belong to an organization back home who will fund them and give them money to create their own little sleeper cell? And then if you're going to say, well, if it weren't for so-and-so, they couldn't get guns to hurt nobody. No, but they can rent a truck to hurt hundreds. And then, well, here comes someone and says, what about all the children? My God, y'all, do y'all even know? Here's the problem, I think, here's the biggest problem. I sat on this porch right over here with the lady no more than 2 weeks ago. Now, she was a visitor who showed up unannounced, and I allowed her to come up and visit. She was here for the animals. But after we visited with the animals for a while, we sat and talked. And as we were talking, we began to find out that, okay, so our political views might be a little bit different. And I said, well, first of all, you should know that I'm not Republican and I'm not Democrat. I'm a nobody. I'm a nobody when it comes to picking a side on politics. I'm neither one of those kind of guys because I feel like on both sides, it's just too extreme. I don't want to be one of those extremes. I just want to be a man that can vote based on what I see, what I hear, and what I feel, what my gut tells me, because my gut's not wrong, ever. And so I was curious, and I said, so I'm just curious, based on what you watch on TV, how much do you ever see about the southern border and the number of illegals coming across? She had no idea. She had no idea. I'm like, so what do you see on your channels that you watch, on your social media channels that you watch? What does take the book of the newscast? And she says a hate for Trump, just a complete despise and a hate for Donald Trump. And I'm like, so wait, you have no idea about the immigration issues and all of the illegals coming across the border that are pouring across our border? She had no idea. And that told me that, guess what? Her source of news is not telling her exactly what's happening. They're telling her what they want her to hear. And then I'm like, what am I missing out on? What kind of news do I need to know about that I don't know? And so she was trying to tell me things that are big on her news. I'm telling her things that are big in my news. And we had no idea. We are on so different of pages. And that's what I'm telling you all right now. I don't care, my friends. I'm telling you right now, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent. I don't know if any of us know the true story of any of this. What I do know is this. I think that the last administration and the current administration are polar opposites when it comes to so many issues. Whatever this guy wanted to do, this guy's going to do the exact opposite. So let's just take immigration for example, because that's like the topic right now. Talking about Uriel, immigration, this guy said, stop them all. Let them come through a door. And at that door, we will vet them, we will check their background, we will fingerprint, and then we'll allow them in. Whereas this guy's saying, if you're oppressed, come. And now, guess what? They are coming. You have no idea. Many of y'all have no idea how many hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants from all over the world, even China. Why are Chinese, who we think don't like us very much, showing up over here? Why are there so many African countries sending people over here? And then when you find out, you know how many criminals from their countries are being sent here to become criminals in our country? This is scary. Listen, stop it. Stop it over here. Stop it over here. Someone's saying over here, someone is trying to put capital letters about Trump. I'm not talking about Trump or Biden. I'm not talking about any of that mess. Stop all that nonsense. That's you. That's you and your craziness here. I'm just talking about the real life, real. Because in real life, Biden and Trump will both be dead in the next 10 years. We already know that. They will not see the results of what their policies are going to do to our country. They won't. They have no idea what's going to happen here when they're long gone in the ground. It's us who will still be here having to live with the consequences of their actions or their inactions. And that scares me for my sons. I'm a grown man. I've lived a full life. If I die from a terrorist attack or from a truck who runs me over because he's trying to just, you know what? Then I die. But my sons are young. They have a whole life ahead of them. They want to live. I want them to live and be happy and be safe. And if you're not concerned about our safety because your biggest concern is the name of a man, you must support this man, or you must not support this man, or you must hate this man, or you must make fun of this man. Guys, that's all we've done as a country is begin to make fun of each other. You make fun of Trump, and Trump makes fun of Biden, and Biden makes fun of Trump, and Trump makes fun of Biden, and it goes back and forth. And all you really have is one New Yorker who's loud and outspoken and pretty much the typical New Yorker, if I'm not being mean. And then you have another guy over here who can't really figure out what he wants to say because he's older. His mind is fuzzy. But neither one of these guys truly represent us. They don't. They don't. I hope that I don't get shot. You know, those snipers. I just wish that America could just get a grip. Stop arguing and fighting over things that are stupid. The pronouns, y'all. Let's not fight over pronouns. Seriously. We're going to fight and argue and debate and spend so many millions of dollars in trying to change our language to accommodate a couple of people who are not comfortable with calling so-and-so by he or she, and they want to change an entire language. What in the world is that? Where did that come from? Oh my gosh, y'all. We are really living in a jacked up time. What I will say is this. This is so dumb. This is so dumb. I just get tired of the dumbness sometimes. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart, y'all. Listen to your heart and your conscience. And I do believe that the voice of a higher power still speaks to us. And we know when something is foolery. We do. We know when something is foolery. You can watch a Lester video and you know when, okay, this is foolery. My dad won't even watch my videos because he knows that a lot of it is just for edutainment. It's edutainment. My dad would rather watch Daniel Arms, who talks about real farming, real hunting, real fishing, not, Ringa, oh my God, you got me good. Oh, you know. And so I get it, y'all. We have fun and we all have to find our niche. But please make sure that you are truly uninformed, and don't say you should educate yourself, Lester. I talked yesterday briefly about the climate. I never, ever, 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 ever mentioned Democrat or Republican or any of that nonsense. I've never mentioned none of that nonsense, because that to me is nonsensical, because whatever the Republicans say, the Democrats are always going to do this, and vice versa. These two hate each other so much, they're going to always do this no matter what. So I can promise you, no matter what side they're saying, I can promise you there's something over here that they're saying, and then it's going to flip-flop. And the problem is that we will never hear each other. We have to meet here in the middle, y'all, in the middle. And if we don't meet in the middle, we're screwed. We are so screwed. I watch a lot about history. So just in case you're wondering how many we've lost, we have lost over 1,000, because people are going to say, I only come for the animals, Lester. I don't come to hear about politics and religion. I know that you don't. I know that you don't. And so, sorry, but I'm not sorry. This is on my mind. I'm just talking to you. This is Lunch with Longhorn Lester, and it's a time that I want to talk to you all about real talk. And so you were talking about the climate, and I says, from my perspective, being here in Texas, knowing that we should have temperatures in February should be our coldest month of the year. This is the month when we lose all of our insects. They freeze to death. And that means our spring should be nice and warm, and our animals should be getting new grass. And if we didn't have 91-degree temperature by day and 80 degrees at night a couple of nights ago, and I'm thinking, okay, this is not good. 91 degrees by day is not normal, not in Texas. And then all of a sudden you have these extreme temperatures where it's below freezing for 4 or 5 days and this and that. And I'm like, wait, that's not Texas either. As long as I've lived here for my 50 plus years, I've never experienced such drastic changes in climate. And I'm not talking about it's chemtrails. It's the chemtrails. It's HAARP. It's the HAARP. Lester, you should educate yourself. It's HAARP. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that from my perspective, there's something going on with our climate. Done. I didn't say a word about Democrat or Republican, but there's something going on with our climate. And it affects me because it affects these animals. It affects my hay crop. It affects the amount of water in our ponds. It affects how fast our wells are going to run dry. And so what can someone do? I'm not here to talk politics. I'm here to talk about, I think we're in trouble. Something's wrong with our climate. It's not normal. We have trees up and down the road that are dead, about to fall over across our roads because of 2 years with extreme drought. I don't mean, okay, you go through a few days of no rain. I mean, you go through 90 plus days 2 years ago, 128 days with no rain last year. That's not normal. That's not normal. So if I say the word climate change, then half the people want to freak out because you don't know climate change. You're not a Republican. I didn't say nothing about politics. I said that our climate is different now than what it was over the first 40 years of my life, and something has happened and our climate has changed. I'm not trying to pinpoint the reasons behind it. I'm just trying to tell you that something's going on here that's pretty fishy, and that's from my perspective. If you live in other states around the country, you may not even realize how many illegal immigrants are coming across the border, pouring across the border. But here's the scary thing. When they do start forming those sleeper cells, they're not going to attack states who are already armed. When all of your citizens are armed, They're going to find the states that are not armed. Oh no, Lester, now you're talking about gun laws and gun laws. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to tell you that it's scary. It is scary for all of us, not just me. Not just me. I can't wait to read the comments later. There's going to be some people who are going to hate me now. Guys, I'll say one last thing. Now, I do not know this to be fact, because if I don't see it with my own eyes, I'm not going to believe it. But from what I understand, New York City has taken 5 of your largest hotels and have vacated all of the paying customers out of those hotels. This is New York City, Jamie's favorite place on earth, New York City. And they've taken and emptied these hotels and are giving illegal immigrants rent free. They give them room service, they give them meals, they give them a debit card, and all of that's being paid for by New York City taxpayers. New York City taxpayers. And if I was in New York City, which is the largest city in our country, New York City being a powerhouse and just a world known tourist attraction, yet you've taken 5 of your hotels. And so get this, the hotels are making more money now than they've ever made because the government is reimbursing them. And so now it means it's not just a New York City taxpayer problem. It's everyone who pays taxes is seeing all this tax money go to allow people to live in a hotel where they're getting meals, they're getting room service, they're getting a debit card. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, is there something wrong with that? Is there something fishy about that? That just seems kind of fishy. I've also heard that there were some schools that were canceled so that they could move immigrants into schools. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But I'm scared and I worry. So now we are down 1,000 people from where I started, which means that Lester has run off 1,000 people. Listen, I'm not apologizing. And if you want to stick around for an apology, you're not going to get it. But what I will say is this. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an American through and through. I will fight and die for this country if ever asked. And so I do hope that at some point America will wake up and you'll stop all of the divide in the country. And at some point we have to find a way to meet in the middle, make some resolutions, figure out what's right for our country's future and our well-being. And you're not going to take an 80-something-year-old man who is president, who cannot complete a simple sentence, along with another man who's about the same age, who cannot complete a simple sentence without repeating the same words 10 times. I believe that America is better than that. I do believe that America is better than the both of those guys, and that what we have to do is really, truly come together as a people and find somebody who can speak for all of us and find a way to get this country back on track. Or in fact, just like they say about Rome, it crumbled from the inside. It did. It crumbled from the inside. Yeah, Rome was not defeated by outside armies, y'all. Rome was defeated by Rome itself, by the senators and the republic and the foolery. And we're no different. I love Roman history. And if I could tell you the number of, they weren't always emperors, but they were leaders, Roman leaders. Oh my God, there's a lot of them who were at some point, most of them were ended up murdered by their own people because of the breaking apart. Either the senators got to, it's a long story. I'm not going to go into Roman Empire history, but listen, Rome was not destroyed in a day, but it was destroyed by the Romans government itself. You all know that already. And if I'm not watching our very own country, who's a very new country, being slowly destroyed from the inside out, from the most foolery, just foolish. Politics is so dirty and corrupt. I would agree. And I also think that both parties are responsible for that. God, family, country, my friends, God, family, and country. I'm going to end it right there. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for the beautiful things you've bestowed upon us. And thank you for being a part of this live. We love you. We will catch you guys on a little bit later video. I'm going to go now and look at all my mean faces. Let me just go ahead and peek at them right now. I'm not going to call out any names. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I only got 8 mean faces. Wow. That's a record. that's a pretty good record. Okay. Thank y'all for watching. I'm going to finish my drink now and take me a little nap. Bye, y'all. Have a great day. We love you so much. We're blessed to have you. And listen to me. I'll say one last thing. None of this, nothing of what the blessings we're able to live today with the properties, with the animals, with all of the amazing things would have ever been possible without each and every one of you. So like I said, I can hold these over here up and I can smile and say, look at me, all I want to. This is not look at me. This is look at us. Look at what we've done, y'all. Look at what we've done. You've come together and you found a way to love me despite my many flaws and my shortcomings and our indifferences. It's obvious we have some indifferences, y'all, but I love you anyway. I will love you until the day I die. I hope that you know that. I don't care who you vote for. I don't care. I don't care. Thank y'all. We love you.